there was an interesting thing here. It said, in terms of ergonomic workspace design, it said key considerations, posture and ergonomics. So for seating, consider ergonomic chairs, kneeling chairs, or balance balls that promote good posture and can help with focus. Sensory input. Many children benefit from tactile input. Fidget toys, weighted lap pads, and sensory mats can provide comfort and help maintain focus. Fidget toys can help improve focus, emotional regulation, and engagement by providing small, repetitive movements. Welcome to Workspace Design Lab, the show where architects, interior designers, and workplace leaders explore the future of workspace interiors. Each week, we dive into ergonomic office design, modern workspace trends, and sustainable furniture solutions that improve well-being and performance. I'm Syl Vander Park, and together we'll uncover the stories, strategies, and innovations that help you design offices that truly work. Let's dive in. I want to take some time to speak directly in this kind of one-to-one session. One day I was trying to come up with some ideas of what I could talk about, and my 6-year-old daughter was helping me. And she was asking me what the podcast was about. And I said, it's about designing places where we work and how to make it so that we do things as best as we can. It gives us comfort. And she says to me, well, do you talk about toys? And I thought about it and I said, no, we haven't talked about toys yet. But, what a wonderful way to kind of think about our workplaces and how people work, what gives people comfort. And kind of the little things, or it could be the big things too, lighting, being able to have natural daylight. You've got a personal temperature control, climate control kind of unit, the old Johnson controls. So you could have heat or cooling at your desk to give you physical comfort. There are little things, and I think a lot of people have started to get into little gadgets, little fidget toys, or we'll have like a little what we call a nervous habit. And that is our body staying engaged. And while we're thinking about something and, shaking your leg, doing a little movement, whatever it is, doodling, look at something else rather than look straight ahead, because that helps me to concentrate on what I want to say, or else I'm kind of overwhelmed with what I'm looking at. I can get distracted by that and lose my train of thought. So humans are such interesting beings. We're capable of so much. And we're all so unique, and not everybody works the same or functions the same. And that's what makes it so great, is just looking at all the variation. It's part of what makes the world so rich, isn't it? So getting back on track, I like the question about the toys, because it started to look at kind of, yes, our little kind of things that we do as adults to make us comfortable. Some people, they have their desks and they put their pictures up, and that gives them a sense of comfort. Now, you want to try now in the workspace to capture everybody's comfort zone. I will be interviewing some people coming up about neurodiversity and kind of inclusionary design considerations when putting together a new workplace. And so there's new thought coming through into what should go into a workplace, which is really fascinating. It's really taking us into more consideration as human beings, looking at how we connect, looking at how we work, and taking ergonomics to another level. I will take this moment too then, because, I was talking about toys and kids, to look at school workplaces, because that's where it all begins, isn't it? I guess it truly begins at the home, but kind of going out somewhere to your job, that's school at the beginning. At least, it's how one person had explained it to me, which I thought it was cute. The elementary school and children's ergonomic considerations are probably, I'm going to have to do a deep dive at some point and find somebody to talk to, or find a bunch of people to talk to, because of course there's so many approaches to education. So, there's Montessori, there's classical, there's now traditional schooling, and each kind of has their own take. And then there's probably a lot more different, there's the Waldorf, and probably each school philosophy comes with its own set of ergonomic tools. But generally speaking, in terms of just going back to toys, Ergonomic toys would support, I don't know if you can call them toys, but they would support good posture, improve focus, and provide sensory input. So ergonomic chairs would help to provide good posture to children. And then things like lap pads and fidget toys, that's what I was showing here. The movement helps the children to stay engaged, or gives them, I think the lap pads and kind of weighted things gives them a sense of their body. They feel their body more, and that allows them to feel more comfortable and to focus.
Hey, have you noticed how complicated workspace planning can get? Between priorities, costs, and endless decisions, it's easy to lose track of what really matters. At Novalink, we cut through that complexity with a product and a process designed to simplify the journey. Our experienced team walks with you every step of the way, bringing knowledge, guidance, and a practical plan you can trust. If that kind of support sounds right for you, just click the QR code or see the link in the show notes. All right, back to the conversation.
There was an interesting thing here. It said, in terms of ergonomic workspace design, it said key considerations, posture and ergonomics. So for seating, consider ergonomic chairs, kneeling chairs, or balance balls that promote good posture and can help with focus. Sensory input. Many children benefit from tactile input. Fidget toys, weighted lap pads, and sensory mats can provide comfort and help maintain focus. Safety. Ensure all toys are child-proof and made of non-toxic materials, as children may put them in their mouths. Focus and engagement. Fidget toys can help improve focus, emotional regulation, and engagement by providing small, repetitive movements. I've heard also about workplaces or outdoor classroom environments where kids go for hikes and they'll learn to count by counting items in nature that they find, and it connects with them. Again, that starts to look into different ways of teaching, different toolkits, which, any teacher can really implement depending on their creativity and their experience. Finally, kind of the ergonomic structure of the day. Generally, people talk about making sure that kids get up every 30 minutes. So asking an elementary school child to sit still and learn longer than 30 minutes isn't really going to achieve much. And I was talking with my mom, who she still remembers her kindergarten classes so fondly. And this is in, 1950s Mexico, small town Mexico. And she said her favorite time was when they got up. You'd have kind of like circle time, and you'd have a learning time where you'd talk about what day it was of the week and what the weather was outside, etc. But the best time was when they went to the centers. And I said, yeah, I think that's probably still the favorite of kids these days. So, from the 50s to the 2020s now, we are still working largely with the ideas of centers and moving from station to station, doing different activities. And it's that movement in between that helps to transition from one thing to another. And you get to look forward to the next change. I'm going to have to look through the sequence of elementary school to middle school to high school to understand the progression of how ergonomics can hit each major section of school. And I'm looking forward to that. So stay tuned on that topic as I look through education. I'm very interested always in education, mainly because we're always learning throughout our life. That's where we learn to learn. As we look to what the future of work is going to look like, what the future of the world's going to look like, what our kids are going to look forward to when they're adults and our grandchildren, etc. Looking to what the classroom looks like is how has it evolved? How is it evolving now? And how should it evolve? Looking at how adults are now and looking at all the inclusive items and the ergonomics items and saying, okay, is there anything that can be translated from that back to the schools? Can we learn from the adults that helps the children to learn more effectively, more easily, so that kids aren't missed? How can we be more inclusive so that we can address different types of learning profiles without really having to reinvent everything? Are little things here and there that can be implemented in every school. Can public schools implement great lessons from what we see in workplaces, adult workplaces, or excellent offices that really focus on inclusion and optimal work environments for their people. I'm hoping to tie that all back as we look at different corporations and companies who are trying to do interesting things with their workplaces, and then look at education and see what's interesting there, and can one help the other and vice versa. So anyway, thanks for bearing with me through that little monologue. If you find it interesting and you feel like talking about it with me, then please send me a message. You can contact me at Syl, S-Y-L, at novalink.com, novalink.com. You can also message through Instagram. The handle is Novalink PCF, so Novalink, P as in Peter, C as in Charlie, F as in Foxtrot. Send me a DM if you are interested in being interviewed and talking about these kinds of things. And I'll look forward to talking to you and sharing more. Take care. Bye.
Thanks for checking out Workspace Design Lab. If you're an architect, interior designer, or workplace professional looking to stay ahead in ergonomic office design and modern workspace interiors, make sure to follow the show on your favorite podcast platform. For more resources on sustainable office furniture and human-centered workspace design, visit us at novalink.com. Until next time.